Can you feel it? I'm asking you, can you feel it? I'm not talking about the aches in your bones when the rain is coming. I'm not talking about the stiffness in your knees when the winter sets in. No. I am talking about that feeling deep down in your spirit. That heaviness in the air. That hush that comes right before the sky turns green and the tornado siren starts to wail. You know that feeling. Our people have known that feeling for 400 years. It's the spirit testifying to the soul that something is wrong. That the balance has shifted. That the world we are walking in today is not the same world we walked in yesterday. There is a shaking going on. Look at your television screen. Look at your grocery bill. Look at the empty pews in the church house. Look at the anger in the eyes of the young folks. The world is trembling. And the leaders? The politicians? The so-called experts in their high towers? They tell you, peace, peace. But the Bible says, when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes. We are standing on the edge of a cliff, brothers and sisters. And the year written on the milestone at the edge of that cliff is 2026. It is not just a number. It is a turning point. It is a reckoning. For centuries, there was a man of mystery, a man who saw through the veil of time when others were sleeping. Michel de Nostradamus. You know him as Nostradamus. Some called him a magician. Some called him a madman. But let me tell you, God has a way of using strange vessels to carry his water. God used a donkey to speak to Balaam. He used a burning bush to speak to Moses. And he used this man, sitting in his attic in France, surrounded by the plague and death of the 1500s, to write down a warning for us. For me. Right here. Right now. They thought they knew all his writings. They thought the book was closed. But the Lord works in mysterious ways. Hidden for centuries, dusty, forgotten, overlooked, a new sequence of quatrains has been found. And these words don't speak of the past. They don't speak of Napoleon or Hitler. They speak of 2026. And what they say, oh, brothers and sisters, what they say is causing the mighty men of this world to tremble in silence. The next great prophecy is no longer distant. It has already begun. We are going to walk this path together today. We are going to open the seals. We are going to look the beast in the eye. But I need you to be brave. I need you to be ready. Because the truth is closer than you think. If you are ready to hear what they don't want you to hear, if you are ready to prepare your house and your soul, I invite you to join this congregation of truth. Go ahead and press that subscribe button, like you are knocking on the door of the ark before the rain starts. Come on in. The door is open. Let us pray, and let us begin. Let's go back. Let's go way back. Back to the year 1503. France, a time of darkness. The plague, the Black Death, was stalking the streets like a hungry lion. You couldn't walk outside without smelling death. Kings were fighting. The church was burning people at the stake just for asking questions. Does that sound familiar? A world of sickness? A world of confusion? In the middle of this chaos lived Michel de Nostradamus. He wasn't trying to be famous. He was trying to survive. But he had a gift. Or maybe he had a burden. Visions would come to him at night. He saw fire. He saw rising waters. He saw metal birds dropping eggs of fire from the sky. He saw us. But he couldn't just write it down plain, could he? Oh, if he wrote, in 2026, the satellites will fall, they would have burned him alive as a warlock. So he hid the truth. He wrapped it up. He spoke in riddles. He spoke in puzzles. He used Latin, Greek, French. He mixed it all up like a gumbo so that the fools would taste it and spit it out, but the wise would taste the truth. He wrote these 4-line poems called quatrains. And for 500 years, scholars have been picking at them, trying to figure them out. But here is the thing. Here is the thing that should make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Most people think we have found everything he wrote. They think the library is full. But recently, something happened. In the dusty archives, hidden between the pages of more famous verses, researchers found a sequence. A sequence that had been ignored, overlooked, maybe even intentionally buried by people who were too scared to read it out loud. Why were they scared? Because these verses didn't talk about a generic war. They didn't talk about a generic flood. They pointed to a specific alignment of stars, a specific condition of the world, that matches 2026 with chilling precision. They found that Nostradamus warned of a time when the events connect like links in a chain. Not random, orchestrated. Think about it. Think about the last few years. Does it feel random to you? Or does it feel like someone is turning up the heat on the stove, click by click? Let me paint the picture for you. The transcript of our times tells us clearly, this year stands apart not just because of conflict, disaster, or confusion. We've seen those before. We've seen storms. We've seen wars. Our ancestors saw slavery, they saw Jim Crow, they saw the Great Depression. We know trouble. We are old friends with trouble. But 2026 is different. Nostradamus wrote of a time when the signs would appear, one after the other. Like dominoes falling. Fires in the frozen lands. Floods in the desert. Political unrest in the capitals of the West. Economic shaking where the money used to be safe. It is moving together. It is a symphony of destruction. And the conductor is not human. Now, you might say, preacher, that sounds like a fairy tale. Is it? Is it really? When he says, fire below snow, look at the news from the Arctic. Look at Iceland. Look at the volcanoes waking up under the ice caps right now as we speak. The scientists are baffled. They say, this is unusual. Unusual? It's prophetic. When he says, iron sky, look up. Look at the thousands of satellites Elon Musk and the governments are launching every single week. They are weaving a net of iron around the earth. A cage. Nostradamus saw a web of metal choking the heavens. And he saw it now. I want you to understand the precision here. These verses do not speak in exact dates like January 1st. Prophecy is not a calendar. Prophecy is a season. And we are in the season of the turning point. The video we analyzed, the research we have done, it confirms that the symbols are aligning. The broken cross, raised by the silent sky. The burning crown, returned to hands that never wore it. These aren't just poetic words. The broken cross. Look at the division in the churches. Look at how faith is being mocked in the public square. The cross is broken in the hearts of the people. The burning crown. Look at the leadership of the world. Kings and presidents falling down, new powers rising up from the east, powers that never held the crown before. Nostradamus warned us. He said, the deeper we go into 2026, the louder the warning becomes. Listen to me. The warning is not to scare you. God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. The warning is an awakening. It is an alarm clock. When the alarm goes off in the morning, do you scream? Do you cry? You wake up. You get out of bed. You get ready for the day. 2026 is the alarm clock. But most of the world is hitting the snooze button. They are rolling over. They are pulling the covers up over their heads. They want to sleep a little longer in their sin. They want to sleep a little longer in their ignorance. But you are here. You are listening. You are awake. But here is the question that should keep you up at night. If these signs are so clear, if the fire is under the snow, if the sky is turning to iron, if the ancient books are matching the morning news, why are the historians silent? Why are the scientists scrubbing their websites? Why are the leaders acting like everything is normal while they build bunkers in the ground? We found out why. And let me tell you, it is not because they don't know. It is because they do know. And what they know is that the time for talking is over. Stay with me, because in the next part of this message, we are going to expose the silence. We are going to shine a light on the darkness they are trying to hide. Don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Silence. They say silence is golden. But in 2026, silence is a weapon. Have you noticed it? Not just the noise on the news, but the things they are not saying. The holes in the story. The transcript reveals something terrifying. It tells us that recently, people who have spent their entire lives studying these prophecies have gone quiet. Historians who used to write books every year? Gone. Scientists who used to mock the idea of end times? Silent. One well-known expert, a man who swore Nostradamus was a fake, quietly deleted all his articles last month. Scrubbed them from the internet. Like he was never there. But I'll tell you why. Because it's one thing to study a tiger in a cage. It's another thing entirely when the cage door opens and the tiger is standing in your living room. These experts, these smart men with their degrees and their charts, they looked at the new quatrains. They plugged the data into their supercomputers. They looked at the dates. They looked at the stars. And they saw something that scared the living daylights out of them. They saw that the math works. They saw that the prophecy isn't a metaphor anymore. It's a schedule. And instead of warning you, instead of sounding the trumpet like a watchman on the wall, they ran. They hid. They chose silence. Because they are afraid of panic. They are afraid that if you knew the full truth, if you knew how close the clock is to midnight, you wouldn't go to work tomorrow. You wouldn't pay your taxes. You would fall to your knees. Men love darkness rather than light because their deeds are evil. That's John 3 verse 19. They keep you in the dark to keep you under control. But God, oh, God is shining a light right now. Let's look at what they saw. Let's look at the verse that made them run. Nostradamus wrote of a year when the broken cross is raised by the silent sky. He wrote of an iron sky. Now, 500 years ago, a man looks up. He sees birds. He sees clouds. He sees stars. How could he imagine a sky made of iron? How could he imagine a sky that is crowded? But look up tonight. Thousands and thousands of satellites. Weapons in space. Drones hovering like mechanical locusts. We have built a cage around God's green earth. We have turned the heavens, which used to be for prayer, into a battlefield for power. The silent sky. It's silent because it's watching. It's the surveillance state. It's the eyes that never blink. Nostradamus saw a time when humanity would be trapped under a net of its own making. A time when there is no place to hide. That is the iron sky. And it is here. 2026 is the year the net tightens. And while the sky turns to iron, the earth is screaming. The prophecy speaks of fire below snow. A sea that rises without storm. Scientists are scratching their heads right now. They are seeing volcanic activity in the Arctic. In places that should be frozen solid. Fire underneath the ice. Think about that image, church. Fire under. So, it's a contradiction. It's not natural. But it is the perfect picture of our world right now. On the surface, the snow. Cold. The politicians smiling and shaking hands. Everything looks white and clean. But underneath, the fire, the rage, the pressure, the magma of war bubbling up just inches below the surface. Russia, China, the Middle East. The alliances are shifting. The three lions are turning their backs on each other. The pressure is building up. And you know what happens when fire meets ice? Explosion, steam, chaos. You can't keep the fire hidden forever. The ice is melting. The truth is coming out. The experts are silent because they are waiting for the explosion. But we are not waiting. We are preparing. Now, I want to talk to you about something deeper. I want to talk about the pain. We can talk about satellites and volcanoes all day long. That's the outside world. But the most dangerous prophecy of 2026 isn't about what's happening in the sky. It's about what's happening in your living room. Nostradamus called it the sickness of the spirit. He said, when the heart grows sick, the body follows. He warned of a spiritual fog that would settle over the nations. I know you feel this. I know you see it. Look at your family. Look at your neighborhood. Do people say, good morning, anymore? Do people look you in the eye? Or do they look down? Do they look away? There is a sickness spreading, and it's not a virus you can catch from a cough. It's a virus of the soul. It is fear. It is division. It is hopelessness. The broken table. The transcript says, people turn against each other not over facts, but over fear. Think about your own dinner table. Brothers stopped talking to sisters because of who they voted for. Children stopped visiting their parents because they are too busy chasing the world. Neighbors who used to borrow sugar from each other now put up fences and security cameras. We are lonely. We are the most connected generation in history, yet we are the loneliest people to ever walk God's earth. That is the spiritual sickness. It is a breakdown of trust. We don't trust the government. We don't trust the news. We don't trust the preacher. We don't even trust each other. And when trust dies, love dies. And when love dies, chaos is the only thing left. Nostradamus wrote of a time when the people shall walk with heavy hearts, though no war be declared. No bombs are falling on your roof today. But there is a bomb in your spirit. Anxiety. Depression. Why are so many of our young men lost? Why are so many of our young women crying themselves to sleep? Because the spirit of the world is sick. They took prayer out of the schools. They took shame out of the streets. They took God out of the public square. And now they wonder why we are sick? Lord have mercy. You cannot drink poison and expect to be healthy. You cannot sow the wind and not reap the whirlwind. And just as the prophecy warned, the world is splitting in two. Right down the middle. On one side, the mockers. They laugh. They say, "Oh, that's just an old fairy tale." They say, "Science will save us." They say, "Eat, drink, and be merry." They are dancing on the deck of the Titanic. On the other side, the believers. And I don't just mean people in the church pews. I mean anyone with eyes to see. The people who feel the shaking. The people who are quietly buying extra food. The people who are holding their Bibles a little tighter. The people who are whispering, "Lord, get me ready." This division is happening in your house right now. You try to warn your children, and they roll their eyes at you. "Mama, you're crazy." "Granddaddy, stop watching those videos." Does it hurt? I know it hurts. To see the ones you love walking blind into the storm. But Nostradamus and the Bible told us this would happen. Father against son, mother against daughter. It is the separating of the wheat from the tares. The sickness is here. The fog is thick. The family is under attack. But hear me closely. If the spirit is sick, the nation cannot stand. And while we are fighting each other at the dinner table, while we are drowning in this spiritual fog, the three lions across the ocean are making their move. The burning crown is changing hands. The world outside is about to match the sickness inside. And the America you know? The power we thought was untouchable? Nostradamus saw it too. And what he saw for the new land in 2026 is something no history book is ready to write. We need to talk about America. We need to talk about the war of the lions. Stay with me. The hardest truth is yet to come. We have looked at the sky. We have looked at the heart. Now we must look at the nations. Nostradamus wrote a verse that has baffled historians for centuries. But today, in 2026, it is as clear as day. He wrote of three lions turning their backs. He wrote of broken trust among the kings of the North and West. Who are the lions? For 100 years, the Western world, America, Europe, the United Kingdom, stood together like a pride of lions. They ruled the jungle. They set the laws. They kept the peace. But the prophecy says they will turn their backs. Look at the news. Alliances are crumbling. Old friends are becoming new enemies. Trade wars. Border disputes. Arguments over who pays the bill while the ship is sinking. The pride is broken. The lions are fighting each other. And when the lions fight, the hyenas laugh. And then, there is the burning crown. The transcript tells us of a burning crown returned to the hands of those who never wore it. What does that mean, preacher? It means a shift in power that the world is not ready for. For 500 years, the crown of power has rested in the West. It rested in Europe. Then it rested here in America. But the prophecy warns that the crown is moving. It is burning. And it is being passed to those who never wore it. The East? The South? New superpowers are rising while the old ones are sleeping in their spiritual sickness. Nostradamus saw thrones trembling in silence. He saw power changing hands not through a great battlefield war, but through collapse, through debt, through division, through the rotting of the foundation. America, oh America, the Rome of our day. We love this country. Our blood is in this soil. Our sweat built these cities. But we are not blind. We see the cracks in the pillars. We see the confusion in the leadership. We see a nation that has forgotten its God. And history teaches us one thing. When a nation forgets God, God removes his hand of protection. That is the shaking of 2026. It is the removal of the hedge. The lions are distracted. The crown is slipping. And the world is holding its breath. Now, take a breath with me. Breathe in, breathe out. I know this is heavy. I know the pictures I painted are dark. Iron skies. Spiritual sickness. Burning crowns. It is enough to make a man want to give up. It is enough to make you want to hide under the bed. But stop. Listen to me, child of God. Listen to me, elder. Nostradamus did not write these words to scare you to death. He wrote them to scare you to life. Prophecy is not a death sentence. It is a diagnosis. When the doctor tells you, you are sick, he isn't telling you to die. He is telling you to take the medicine. He is telling you to change your ways so you can live. We still have a choice. Nostradamus spoke of a return to the fire of the Spirit. That is our way out. That is our path forward. What do? We don't run. We don't panic. We build. First, you must rebuild the family fortress. The world outside is going crazy. Let it go crazy. But in your house? In your kitchen? There must be peace. Turn off the news. Turn off the noise. Sit down with your children and your grandchildren. Look them in the eye. Tell them, baby, the world is changing. But we are not afraid, because we know who holds the world. Pass on your wisdom. You the elders. You have lived through Jim Crow. You have lived through Vietnam. You have lived through the crack epidemic. You are survivors. Don't let this generation face 2026 alone. Give them your strength. Teach them that faith is not just for Sunday morning. It is survival gear for Monday night. Second, you need to build a spiritual iron dome. They have satellites in the sky? Fine. We have prayers that go higher than satellites. We have a direct line to the King of Kings. You need to pray like you haven't prayed in years. Not cute little prayers. I'm talking about war room prayers. Prayers that shake the gates of heaven. Pray for your mind. Pray for your peace. Pray for clarity. Nostradamus said the heavens remain still, watching us. God is waiting for his people to call on him. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray. You know the verse. Now live the verse. And yes, use some common sense too. The Bible says the wise man sees trouble coming and prepares. Store up a little extra food. Have some water. Get your house in order. Not out of fear. No, out of wisdom. So that when the supply chains break, you can feed your neighbor. You can be the light in the darkness. My brothers and sisters, 2026 is a turning point. The signs are all around us. The prophecy has begun. The shaking is here. But I want you to remember this. Nostradamus saw the fire. He saw the floods. He saw the kings falling. But he also saw you. He saw a remnant. A group of people who would not bow to fear. A group of people who would stand firm in the storm. This is not the end of the story. This is the shaking before the awakening. This is the fire before the refining. The door is closing, but it is not shut yet. The ark is open. God is calling you. Will you be a victim of the times? Or will you be a victor in Christ? I want you to do something for me right now. If you are ready, if you are refusing to fear, if you are ready to stand as a pillar for your family, I want you to go down to that comment section. I want you to type 3 words. I am ready. Type it as a declaration. Let the devil know he can't have your peace. Let the world know you are standing on the rock. And if this message fed your spirit today, if it opened your eyes, click that like button. Hit subscribe. Share this video with someone you love, someone who needs to wake up. We are on this mysterious path together, and we will walk it hand in hand all the way to glory. God bless you. God keep you. And may his face shine upon you.